Alright, YouTube, let's go ahead and get some solder paste rolling today. I've got my solder paste in. I'm really excited. Finally get to use this reflow oven for the purpose that it was designed for. Okay, let's see here. So we got the solder paste, off-brand. I'm a cheapskate. And we've got a ESP8266 chip here. And we're just going to use it on this board right here. It's a little breakout board. Go ahead and just see if I can zoom in for you guys. There we go, nice and close. Okay. And just want to apply just a little bit there. Just a little bit there. Okay, nice. There's not very much, but let's see, and then just a little bit will do. You don't want to overdo it. Okay. I think there needs to be some in the middle too. What I typically like to do is, you just want to make sure that it's just all over. Not too much, but this stuff evaporates quite a bit too, so, and it's going to lay down flat when it's done. I've seen enough of you guys do this, so I think I got it pretty much. I don't want to waste any here. Go ahead and put the cap back on. Okay. And let's grab the 8266 here. And let's see if I got the pins lined up right. Yeah, because the resistor's going on the bottom. Okay. And just lay it gently like that, and then just firmly. There we go. Alright. Alright. Let's go ahead and let's get this over to the reflow oven. Oh, don't want to touch it. It's some pretty nasty chemicals. Alright, so let me zoom back out and get a close-up. There we go. I know I probably didn't put enough solder paste on there. It's my first time, but I really think I've got good coverage. So we'll go ahead and get this into the oven, and I'll get over to the oven and carry on from there. All right. We're here at the oven now. I'm going to go ahead and set the profile. And it's already set there. Okay. Let's go ahead and get that rolling. Gently grab the board that we're gonna there we go. In you go. Lamp's heating up. There's our profile. And here in about 3 minutes, 4 minutes, we'll check back in. Alright, today's actual video is an unboxing from TE Connectivity. Outstanding company for sending over this care package. We're going to go ahead and take a peek at what we got here today. I'll go through each thing individually and explain. Okay, let me make sure that everything's in focus here. So this is a mixed lot of items here from TE Connectivity. I randomly go through and try different products that they have. Let's see, these are Wi-Fi antennas. Alright, those are pretty nice quality. IPEX connectors on the end. We'll put that on the wall of Wi-Fi. HDMIs. Let's check out. I try to keep them in the same bag so that way if I'm... The reason why I order their just an assortment of different types of connectors is because if you're ever prototyping something, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to use it. You can keep reusing this over and over, but for sizing reference, if you don't want to see it in CAD, it's good to have the actual physical piece. And I usually try to get 2 of them, so that way if I decide to use one, I always have one as a backup to still use as a reference, or if I need to actually order the part for a production run, I've got all the information. And that is my true reason of having pinups on a lot of things, because it's easier for me to grab, and I know that I have them and where they're at. It's a horrible way to keep things organized, but it's just my method of madness, I guess. Another Wi-Fi antenna. .4 gigahertz. With once again a nice IPEX connector. They make really good stuff. They're a little pricey. I mean, if you're really trying to mass produce something, I have to say, but the quality is just crazy. Like, it's just super good. Okay, let's get that back. Did that one not have a tag on it? Okay, there it is. Okay, organized. USB 2.0 plugs. That looks like a really fancy little packaging. So it's a USB plug with the housing and the shell and everything. That'll come in handy at some point. Connection boots or connector boots for BNC. So on the back of your, let's just grab something as an example here. So if, like, say you had to plug it in the back of this, like it's the rubber boot that goes back there, like an anti-stress boot for your wiring, so you don't get a break point. And then it's got the riffles to lock it in there. I like the design. So we'll go ahead and put that in the unbagged pile. Let's see, 28-pin dip sockets. Can never have enough of those. I really like their sockets. They are high quality stuff. Let's see if I can get a close-up of it for you guys. At Mega 328Ps fit in there perfectly. I really like their design on these. They're just really rock solid. They're not like real cheap plastic or thinned out. Let's see, 2-terminal, 2.54 millimeter pitch, and that is the same kind of connectors that I used on my MADLABZ proto board. Down here where the connectors are. I love these things. This is one thing, if you're into prototyping, do yourself a favor. When you order them, make sure you get the right pitch, the 2.54 millimeter, because you don't want to wait a month and then find out that they're like some odd, weird size. I've had it happen. I've ordered enough stuff. Always make sure that your PCB pitch is correct accordingly to the PCB board that you're going to use. But order these things by the hundreds. I mean, I swear, you're going to use a lot of them. Same thing with these. If you do any kind of microchip programming, microcontroller stuff, and you use through-hole dip chips, these sockets are fantastic. Order those in the hundreds. Let's see, we got a different type of connector for USB 2.0. I tried to order a plethora of different styles because you just never know. Okay, up, down. Okay. Don't know if I'll really use the surround on these. Does that come off? Yeah, they come off. But you never know. This might sit on a shelf for a year and then have some crazy use for it. So, and let's go ahead and take it out of that bag. Good job, Jeremy. Just bend the pins all the hell. Okay, let's see what else we got here. I think these are HDMI, yeah, HDMI connector, receptacle, whatever you want to call them. These were really nifty. I haven't seen these before. I've never seen an HDMI plug that mounts like that onto a PCB board, and depending on what you're going to use it for, that could save you a lot of space, or just have a very unique design. I don't know. It's pretty neat. I like it. I'm going to try to implement that into a design at some point. I would pay the extra $1 for that type of plug-in, for that type of board-mounted HDMI plug-in. Just your standard Wi-Fi antennas. That's for a super crazy de-author, dual ESP, dual screen de-author that I'm working on. I know it's kind of like devious sounding, but the de-author that I'm currently designing, it's got 2 screens, 2 ESP8266 modules, 2 antennas, because obviously it's basically just 2 modules but in one handheld unit, so that you can de-auth with one of the modules and you can basically set up a fake router on the other one. I have no uses for it, but I know there's people out there that do. More USB ports, I think. Yep. I like the packaging that they come in. So I wonder how unexpected makers pick and place would handle one of these, if it could do that. If you watch this video, man, let me know. I'm curious. I see this in like a tape reel. I really only wanted these because it has the screw mount points right here. And there's nothing worse than a USB port wobbling around, making your product look chintzy. And then a different style here. Also USB 2.0. Those plugins right there, not plugins, but the screw points, is really what drew me to this thing, with these sockets, or these outlets. And what's this one? 10 power tap assembly. Oh yeah, it's a PCB mounted power taps. Get a close up of that one. So if you're running some higher amperage, higher voltage to your PCB boards, I thought this was pretty neat. You put the screw in there, and then you just basically have kind of like what an amplifier or what those terminals kind of look like. But the way that it mounted to the boards, let's see if I can grab an old scrap PCB over here. God, my stomach's chirping over here. Brrr. Just like that. Also 2.54 millimeter pitch. In the beginning, looking through spec sheets and ordering parts, that was like my biggest problem, is not looking clearly through the details and ordering things and like the pitch is way off and just ended up going into a junk bin. Can you imagine if you ordered 10,000 of something the wrong size and couldn't return it? Oh my god, that would be nuts. I think this is mini USB or micro. Let's see. Yeah, micro USB, micro Bs. These look really, really hardy. And something else I want to show you on this one. So there's the actual plug-in, and then it's got mount points. That's awesome. Like, to me, if you're designing a product and you want it to last, and I know it's going to cost more, like, usually you don't have problems with these guys right here, these ports, but there's no, like, it's just easier to bust off. If you've got something that's rough, they're going to bust that thing off. It's not like it's an issue with them, but I guess if you overbuild things, it's better. More expensive, but better. So that, I'm really excited about that. USB 2.0. And those mount on the side. That side mount stuff, pretty nifty. And just a couple of these just to have as reference. Go ahead, pop one of these open. Like, the quality of their stuff, I mean, it just blows my mind. You see enough of this stuff and you realize what is nasty and cheap and what's high quality. Same kind of port right here. One of them little doodads. I probably won't use these in an actual project. I will probably just keep these as a physical reference. Who knows? Alright, that is today's unboxing / mailbag. Brought to you by TE Connectivity. They very kindly sent me that, per request, obviously, but I try not to go overboard with them. This order was absolutely crazy because I've got 6 different things going on in my mind. Not even gonna lie, I was a little nervous with putting this order in. I thought they may be like, okay. But, do a quick rehashing here. The side HDMI ones, awesome. I'd say that's one of my favorites. The micro USB, those are my favorites out of this. I always love these guys. Some of this is just like standard, doing your due diligence. Okay, so they did also provide screws in the PCB mounted terminal. The screws are in there too. And that's something else I didn't. Here's another HDMI. I probably called it USB earlier. but they've got that screw point. That little spot right there. So if this thing was like behind the plastic of something, you have your mounting screw in there. I don't know. I think these are going to last a lot longer than a standard HDMI port. Something else that would be kind of neat to see in future products is a removable, it's like the HDMI itself is plugged into a socket, so that when somebody wallers out one of these micro USB or HDMI sockets, on depending on the product and its value, you could just undo the screw, you know, open the case, undo the screw, and just bloop, pop this thing out, and bloop, pop a new one in. That'd be pretty cool. To my knowledge, I think iPhone's like one of the only people that do like a modular replacement part system like that. I mean, I'm sure that there's some other companies out there, and if anybody knows any, let me know, because I always like checking out some creative new stuff. But, alright, well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. My apologies for the little spoof thing. That was not actual thermal paste. Soldering paste earlier. That was just peanut butter and gray paint. I just thought somebody would get a kick out of it. Hopefully it didn't steer anybody away from the channel.